This is Hannibal back here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with a daily wrestling news update. The Undertaker has commented about Hogan getting booed on the original Netflix Raw, which, by the way, has dropped significantly in viewership as expected since that initial airing. He said, "quote I got feelings for people. Sometimes in life, things come back. He was bigger than life, Americana kind of deal. Then he gets caught on tape saying something derogatory, racist things in this day and age where all of that is such a hot button deal. I don't know what you'd expect. People are going to react. They are not going to react in a positive way," end quote. So Undertaker has alluded that there was heat in the past with him and Hogan due to Hogan making some false allegations of getting injured by the Undertaker back at Survivor Series. I believe it was 1991 when Undertaker beat him for the title. For what it's worth, Hulk Hogan's best friend for a long time was Brian Knobbs, who, just look at the link in the description. He uses the N word, like he just throws it out there. Like it doesn't. It's not something that he doesn't use. And those two were close friends. So whether Hogan uh, does actually have a true hatred for them or not, he certainly didn't seem to have an issue hanging out with people that said it a lot. But at various times, it was a more common word in wrestling. We've heard Teddy Long and Bill Dundee say that Ric Flair used to say it on the record and stuff. So times times have changed, but definitely the thing where he was caught on tape saying it was in more recent years, um, for both Hogan and his friend Knobs. He says it in more recent years. And there is recent pictures of those two together. AEW Collision got its second lowest rating of all time this past weekend, 0.04. A lot of booking issues in that company. Tony Khan is the main booker, but according to Dave Meltzer, Khan has gone on the record saying Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and Ricochet also help him with the booking. And it's known that guys like Jericho and John Moxley have a lot of creative freedom in their contracts, which again, like the rest, what the AEW is far worse than WCW ever was from overpaying people perspective, paying people to do nothing perspective, booking perspective. It's horrible. Entertainment perspective, it's horrible. But one of the mistakes WCW made, and this is well documented, is giving wrestlers too much creative freedom. It doesn't lend hand to a good product. By the way, Apollo Crews got a torn pec from Johnny Gargano on SmackDown. I think these guys are so lucky, and I'm not saying this is wrong at all, but it's so lucky when you have an injury to just be able to get it fixed by the very best doctors and still get paid while you're recovering from the injuries, because that just doesn't happen for independent wrestlers like myself, or in Canada. I mean, our medical system is very bad. You're lucky to even get an MRI these days, unless it's very, very serious. Which is one of the reasons I'm in the U.S. for the winter. I am getting some of my injuries dealt with by the better medical assets that are available here in the U.S. But I'm just saying, I don't know anything about Apollo Crews. God bless him that he's getting fixed. These guys are so lucky that they get to get treated right away by the very best doctors and paid when they're treated as they should be. By the way, it appears that for everyone has seen Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud forever, and it looks like WWE is going to have another feud with those two. By the way, the SmackDown from February 2025 to January 2025 has dropped a lot as far as the ratings go. There's a lot less interest this year. I should ask Hugo Savinovich and Savio Vega for a review of the Old Days WWC movie. I always have such a bad taste in my mouth from the pay issues I had with WWC and the murder of Bruiser Brody that I really don't care much about that company. And I'm kind of glad that they're in the shape they're in these days because they don't have a very good record of treating people well. And I like Savio, and I've interviewed Hugo a bunch of times. And I'll probably interview them both again at some point. So I'll ask them your question if and when I ever interview them again. I was supposed to see Savio this month, but it ended up falling through. But I'm sure our paths will cross again.